Let's get started.
Welcome to Soulfield Sunday. We're so happy to have those of you here with us live that are here. It's like such a joy. Nancy and I get like little kids when we see your faces pop up. We go, oh, hi.
Mhm.
And we're also so glad and happy to have those of you joining us in the eternal now. We feel you, we know who you are, and we're so glad you're with us.
Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. So let's start by opening the Temple of Divine Perfection. So whatever you want to release and leave there, anything that you need transforming or no longer serving you or you want to recycle, just put it in the in the temple. And then let's light our candles um, to to start our journey into the soul field. So allow yourselves to leave whatever it is you don't want to bring right now into the temple and allow yourselves to sink in to
Mm.
this moment.
Yeah. We are claiming this as sacred space. And the lighting of the candles is our remembrance of that. And so we'll
Yeah.
begin with our
And as you are,
oh, good.
no, no, you were gonna say what I was gonna say.
Just take a minute, take a moment to just let your eyes drop inward and just feel a couple of breath cycles of connection, really anchoring in the body, coming into the body temple. We really understand that this physical body is the resting place of our great spirit in this dimension. And so we invite ourselves to come all the way in, all the way down, bring the breath into the low belly, feel your feet, feel your spine connecting with the earth. Feel the vibrancy of the grateful, joyful heart. We are here together, and it is such a blessing. And feel that place where you connect with your own soul light, the essence, the vibrancy of you. And so we come with grateful, reverent, and open hearts to drink from the deep well of our eternal nature. As we dive into the soul field together, we are held in a sacred and holy embrace by the source of all love, light, and grace. In this eternal now, we actively invoke our unique pathways to source and the beings of love light that support our divine evolving. We allow our mind, body, spirit to expand into the holy realms where magic and miracles are commonplace. As we minister to ourselves, we minister to one another and our family humanity. We recognize we are one in the holy wholeness. We allow all we do here today to ripple out through our lives as a living witness of divine grace for the benefit of all our relations.
Con corazones abiertos, reverentes y llenos de gratitud, venimos a beber del profundo pozo de nuestra naturaleza eterna. Al sumergirnos juntos en el campo del alma, somos envueltos en un abrazo sagrado por la fuente de todo amor, luz y gracia divina. En este ahora eterno, invocamos nuestros caminos hacia el Creador y hacia los seres de amor y luz que apoyan nuestra evolución divina. Permitimos que nuestro cuerpo, alma y espíritu se expandan hacia los reinos sagrados, donde la magia y los milagros ocurren constantemente. A medida que nos amamos a nosotros mismos, así amamos al prójimo y a toda nuestra familia humana, reconociendo que somos uno en la totalidad sagrada. Permitamos que todo lo que se haga aquí hoy repercute en nuestras vidas como un testimonio vivo de la gracia divina para el beneficio de todos. And so take a moment to see what's in your heart, what you want to bring to today's gathering, to Soulfield. Mm. And if you feel inclined, type it in the chat or just keep it in your heart too, whatever feels right.
Mhm. If there are particular prayers, if there's something you want to be known and held, something you want to have affirmed, please go ahead and type that in because we are all here upholding each other. This is part of our prayer, and we understand that. We understand that we're here lifting each other up. So we'll begin with our affirmation for this series. We're continuing our series on grounding the esoteric, living in the frequency of our divinity. And today we're going to talk about intentionality in living the frequency of our divinity. And this is going to be two parts in a series. We're going to do one part this Sunday and one part on our next Soulfield Sunday of intentionality about living in the frequency of our divinity.
Mm. So
Mm.
as we are reading, we're going to tap either the thymus area, so it's right here on the sternum, or rub the earlobes to activate all of the meridians in your body, all of the energy systems in your body, so you can anchor this. So
Mm.
I'll say it first, and then you'll repeat after me. We're going to say this entire affirmations 3 times. I open to the sacred pearl of my divinity.
I open to the sacred pearl of my divinity.
I invoke my 10th, 11th, and 12th dimensional light bodies to fully illuminate my biospiritual system.
I invoke my 10th, 11th, and 12th dimensional light bodies to fully illuminate my biospiritual system.
I rejoice and delight in my angelic embodiment.
I rejoice and delight in my angelic embodiment.
Eternal wisdom reshapes my life into ever expanding beauty.
Eternal wisdom reshapes my life into ever expanding beauty.
I open to the sacred pearl of my divinity.
I open to the sacred pearl of my divinity.
I invoke my 10th, 11th, and 12th dimensional light bodies to fully illuminate my biospiritual system.
I invoke my 10th, 11th, and 12th dimensional light bodies to fully illuminate my biospiritual system.
I rejoice and delight in my angelic embodiment.
I rejoice and delight in my angelic embodiment.
Eternal wisdom reshapes my life into ever expanding beauty.
Eternal wisdom reshapes my life into ever expanding beauty.
I open to the sacred pearl of my divinity.
I open to the sacred pearl of my divinity.
I invoke my 10th, 11th, and 12th dimensional light bodies to fully illuminate my biospiritual system.
I invoke my 10th, 11th, and 12th dimensional light bodies to fully illuminate my biospiritual system.
I rejoice and delight in my angelic embodiment.
I rejoice and delight in my angelic embodiment.
Eternal wisdom reshapes my life into ever expanding beauty.
Eternal wisdom reshapes my life into ever expanding beauty.
Mm, beautiful. So holding for you, creating more peace, moving out of energies that no longer serve us, holding all of your intentions for you, strengthening, yes, knowing that you're supported. Yes.
We are in pretty profoundly, rapidly moving times. Things are shifting and changing in our world faster, probably than any generation, in part because of technology. We have the ability to be connected like this. And we also are influenced more than maybe any time in history in terms of, as a species, we're not necessarily designed to know what's happening everywhere in the world. Like we grew up as a species, like we know our little community and we know maybe the surrounding a little bit. And so there's like so much energy that's competing for our attention and our focus. And when we're talking about living our divinity with intentionality, we have to recognize that we get swayed by all of that. And when the larger energetic of the collective consciousness is the energy of fear and separation, it takes us out of our divinity. It takes us out of our angelic capabilities.
Yes. Something is definitely happening in the ether. I have seen so many people going through tearing down layers. I don't know what it is, but like a lot of my clients, people that I met, like they are going, even my hairdresser is just discovering things and like tearing down layers and layers of, I don't even know what to call it, but it's like facing the reality of things, facing the reality of the situations or our living in this moment. And what this is doing, though, is bringing much more clarity into our lives. But because we're now facing these layers, we can get caught up into what the layer is, and we can get caught up into like, oh, this layer is bad, instead of looking at what we're discovering. We are now stepping into this highest self. And in order for us to really step into that light that we are, this has to start letting go. Um, but it can be a little scary, right? I don't know if it's Lent, spring, but we're definitely moving into a very different time in our lives. And and what's important though is to not get caught up in that the fear of what we've been experiencing, but to remember that consciousness and us are united. We are one.
Exactly.
There's nothing that separates us. It's only our minds and our concepts that
Mhm.
are separating us.
Yeah.
So it's hard though, because when our bodies are hurting, when our minds are telling us stories, it's hard not to believe it.
Mhm.
It's hard to remember
Yeah.
the angels that we are.
Mhm. Yeah, that thing is so important. We are using this language here in this series very intentionally about our angelic embodiment. Sacred service. Sacred service is the highest calling of any embodiment. It's like the evolutionary endpoint. And we become literally the energy of the sacred embodied for another. And we're going to go into that even more next time. Today, we're going to talk a little bit more about those collective dynamic fields that are based in fear, that are based in separation, that actually stop us from that evolution, that keep us stuck in our pain body and in the stories that and the internalized programs that make us feel that we are not enough in some way. So that literally stop us from the energy of moving toward our true destiny, moving toward the true remembrance of who we are. And there is a lot of external energy that wants us to not be in that remembrance, because when we are in that remembrance, we take back our full power. We are not so easily controlled. We are not able to be, duped in the various different ways that these systems that are breaking down want us to stay duped. So there are forces at work to make us feel small through our marketing, through all kinds of things that happen in our media. And what we want us to really recognize today is like, A, that that's happening, and B, that we have choice and that we are meant to, as Nancy was saying, like see that, to harvest the distortion and dispel it from our lives. Right?
Yeah. And it's hard, right? Because we're carrying patterns from our ancestry, from, our parents, grandparents, great grandparents. We're carrying patterns from societal constructs. We're carrying all these beliefs. And so when we are caught up in that pattern, we are just repeating the same things, unfortunately, right? And it can really distort what we're seeing. It doesn't let us see what the truth of who we are is, or what's happening. But because we're heading into a different, I don't know, momentum, I would call it, um, what we're doing is now taking responsibility. We're saying, no, wait a minute. I need to do something about this. I'm not going to let myself get swayed by this anymore.
Yeah.
In order for us to recognize that we have the power, we first have to recognize what the patterns are. Like, oh, I kept telling myself, oh, I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to do it. Even though I knew, though, that will be a pattern that I had. I have to study more because I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. And that pattern came from, my ancestry. And so if I can recognize those patterns, then I can do something about it. And I can step into my power and take action, or at least take ownership of my life.
Yeah. When we live in the kinds of times that we're living in right now, where evolution is happening super quickly and where changes like like that, we can't even potentially keep up with it. And sometimes things look, I'm going to use the word like dangerous or bad. And not to say that there is no danger or there's no badness. I'm not suggesting that, but they can look really disturbing. Things can look really disturbing. And part of where we meet that energy is in the sacred remembrance that we have a destiny commitment. Like we came here to be here now. And we have what we need to meet whatever our world is giving us. So if we're in that place that Nancy's speaking about like, I don't know, I'm not enough, I don't know how, I need to, whatever, then we are not in the energy that allows us to meet what is being put in front of us. We have a lot of, as humans, a lot of guilt, a lot of anxiety, often about moving toward our goals, about moving toward success. We get in this sort of as a collective, we're in this sort of like over responsibility, sort of driven, drive, achieve, and or avoidance of our true light, like unwilling to take the risk to just be like, this is who I am, people. We make ourselves small. We kind of cut ourselves down a little bit. We trim our wings so we can't fly as high or get as far. And these are adaptations that we've made as a species over thousands and thousands of years. But we don't have to choose that for ourselves. And that's what we're here today to remember is
Yeah,
that, yep, that's part of human. And also, we have transcendent connection. That's why we're here.
yeah. And I grew up in an environment that was constraining, and I needed that, but I didn't know I needed that. I needed that environment in order for me to understand and cope and be more compassionate, and learn skills that I didn't have. And thank you, great. That was painful. Thank you very much. But I no longer need to live in that environment anymore. I don't need to live in that fear or self-deprecation anymore. But what happens is when we start breaking out of that into, wow, the potential of what we could be, that can be scary because this is all we know. This is all we lived at, or this is what our frame of mind has. And so to shift into something new, it requires for us to fully trust. And how can you trust something that you don't know anything about, right? How can you trust uncertainty? How can you trust, like, and that's when faith comes in. Faith is knowing that you are loved and protected and cared for, that every co-creation that you have means that you are aligned with divine guidance, and that everything that is happening is for your well-being. But when we look at our current experience from the eyes of our pain and our past and the grief and the guilt and the fear, we're distorting the reality. We're not seeing the truth. And so, knowing that with faith and hope, we can release all of that. And of course, with the group, with the meditations, with this community, you continue to stay connected, then we can continue taking the steps and taking ownership of our lives, our current situation, our state of mind, our being, everything. We can attract things to our lives that are matching this alignment versus attracting from the past situations, the distortions, you know? If I continue believing the distortions, all I'm going to see is what the eyes of the distortions, I'm going to see all of the negative things. But if I can see from the eyes of God, the eyes of love, then every person that comes into my life, every situation is love, is light, is God, is something coming to me aligned beautifully for my well-being. That's where we want to head.
Yeah.
Not easy. Easy to say, hard to
Right.
do.
Well, I want to speak a little bit more about this piece that you're talking about the distorting quality of experience and the collective consciousness. Is it a consciousness of separation and fear? So when we have, like Nancy was speaking about the things in her childhood that grew certain things in her, just think about like the way we strengthen our bodies. We all know that if we want to get stronger, we're going to do some things, physical activity in a certain way. We're going to lift some weights, we're going to whatever. And it's going to be hard and the body's going to hurt a little bit. It's going to take discipline and it may or may not be depending on, our level of fitness to get over that initial hump to where we're like in ease and in the joy of whatever that is. There's going to be some hardship, right? This is how we strengthen and grow. And life gives us whatever we need, but we often have those hard experiences. And then that's what we see. We don't see, like, oh, that was creating this in me. And now I have that. And now, like, I don't need to keep doing that in that same way. I don't have to keep going through the hard phase because I've like got the strength now. Now I just build on that. If I want to get stronger, then I might go through another, but it's never going to be like that first time. As a ballerina, when I would stop dancing for a chunk of time at the level I was dancing, it would be months, several months of grueling experience to get back to where I could dance at the level I was used to dancing. But then I'm dancing at that level and then I'm going to the next level, right? So there's this experience that we have emotionally and spiritually and intellectually that we forget that those hardship moments are the growing moments, the strengthening moments, and we don't claim the power that they gave us fully because we are in that self-diminishing orientation. And then we look through the lens that says life is hard and painful
And
and
for
we miss, it's not that life doesn't have hardship and pain. We're not saying that, it totally does. But that's one part. We miss the larger scope. Like when Nancy said, seeing through the eyes of the divine, it's like the whole scope of it. What is that growing in you? What did that strengthen in you? What did that show you? What did that teach you? What are you meant to bring to that is medicine, that is the nurturance that that situation needs? How is this calling your light forward? How is this asking of me to be even more of my powerful, brilliant, soulful, angelic self? Right?
yes.
We move into that victim space and we have this grief and this guilt and this fear that arises when we want to break out of it because the larger collective is still operating there. And when we step out of it, like I had a client recently that was talking about a phrase that their parents said, well, don't you think you're too big for your britches? We've all heard these kinds of messages. Like if we get big and bright and full of it, right?
Hmm. Hmm. Let's let that sink in for a second.
Mm, yeah.
And we are not trying to bubble wrap your experience. What we're trying to do is build your strength, your resilience for you to remember. We're not trying to say, let's make the world all pretty so I can be okay. Is how can I be okay despite or in spite of the world? How can I stay in that highest self that I am? And it's not like Luminary and I don't go through struggles. We do. And sometimes we forget too. to connect, to tap into the highest self. Sometimes we blame and we, throw a temper tantrum. But we keep coming back. We keep invoking our true self. And that's what we want to do today, for
Mhm.
us to invoke that self that heals, that self that knows, that self that connects,
Mhm.
that self that can handle whatever the world brings because it's connected to source.
And the self that's willing to fully see us in our brilliance and in the outmoded adaptations, in the places where we have gotten caught by the fear and the separation consciousness, and where we're sitting in victimhood, where we're not claiming our true power, and also seeing the the need, like this is the time. We have to see that this is the time to call ourselves into alignment. It requires discipline, yes. Just like we were talking about, if you're going to go like strengthen your body in some ways, it requires discipline, it requires show up, it requires consistency. It requires like that your mind is aware of that. Oh yeah, I'm not, eating that food because this, I'm going to make sure my time is structured so I have time for that, right? It requires our attention and our commitment because the stakes are really high. The stakes are high in terms of you getting to live the experience of your divinity, literally being in your angelic embodiment. And the world needs you.
Yes.
The world needs you, and the world needs me, and the world needs Nancy, needs us to have the discipline to come into that alignment. The
Yes.
time is now.
Go get it. Go get that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Hmm.
So we're going to call the highest part of ourselves, the wisest part of ourselves, to come in today in meditation and literally heal the patterns that are keeping us from living that more fully, to come in exactly where we need nurturance and support. And so Nancy and I are going to lead us on a transformational meditation where we really drop into that sacred connection that transforms us.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, as a reminder, you have the Temple of Divine Perfection. Whatever feels a little off or you just don't want to hold, just put it in the Temple of Divine Perfection. Let it be there and start setting yourself up as if possible. Try to have your spine straight, as if you could just draw a line from the top of your head all the way down your spine to your tailbone. So, and you could be laying down or straight, but try to keep your head and your energy flowing. And if it feels right, close your eyes or look down to minimize distractions and get settled. Take a second to get settled, to be comfortable, and allow your body to be here present, your mind to be here present, and do a couple of long exhales. Breathe in and long exhale to activate your biggest nerve and relax your body. And as you're settling into the stillness of this moment, imagine a cord from your belly button going down into the earth, anchoring you, going down deep into the earth like roots of a tree, holding tight, and allowing the nourishment of Mother Earth to come up through those roots, up to your body, anchoring you, but also giving you all of the nurturance, all of the nourishment that your body needs. Hmm. Feeling that energy coming up your legs, your torso, going up your arms, shoulders, neck, top of the head, filling you up completely. And opening up the top of your head to connect to that highest self of yours, to divine. So you can receive the invocation.
Literally feeling yourself calling to that part of you that is already in the complete awareness of divine mind, of holy wholeness, of the oneness in the unified field, and the one that has mastered these dimensions of being. It's like you're calling that one here. And just like you plugged into the earth and you could feel the nourishment of earth coming up, you start to feel that nourishment coming down into the body, entering through the top of the head. And you let it, like a very slow waterfall of honey, you let it start to flow in. And as this honey-like golden light flows in, it wakes up every cell it touches. So you feel your brain being activated. And in this connection, you really feel the desire that you have to transcend the patterns that are complete, the patterns of limitation, the patterns that keep you in pain and stuck and afraid and alone. And you give permission to this wisest part of you to support that transformation. And as things are dislodged from your body and energy, they just flow up through the portal to the temple of divine perfection to be reworked. And you'll start to feel at some point that upper chest, that honey-like goodness making its way there. And as the upper chest is activated, you breathe even more remembering into the cells, into the throat and the face and the chin, the base of the skull. And you might start feeling as that heart gets activated a much different vibration. It may feel fast or rapid. You may even feel an increase in the rate of the heart. This higher vibration is literally going to start shaking free the maladaptive and old energetics that are no longer feeding your potential. And you give permission for that. And at some point, you might start to become aware, more aware of the surface of your skin or the area near your skin. And you might even have this visual that, like, these old patterns are like dried mud, old dried mud. And as that vibration is shaking from the inside out, that mud just starts to break apart and fall off. And just keep letting there be breath, keep letting whatever's falling away go in through the portal to the temple of divine perfection. If it feels intense, it's simply because your system is ready to really let go. And you just breathe, you allow, you give permission for this wisest part of you to support the biological transmutation. Nice, deep cleansing breaths, permission, trust that it's okay, allowing. You don't need to control this process or suppress it. Just let it flush through you. Let the wisdom of your highest self, your wisest self, recalibrate. You may start feeling these sort of flows, maybe spinning energy in the head. This is the oscillation of the cerebral spinal fluid. And this is literally these energies sort of spinning your head on straight, so to speak. So giving permission for the head to be recalibrated. The knowledge of who you are. You might feel pressure at the nose. You might feel energy moving in and around the eyes as the lenses of consciousness are shifted. And you'll begin to notice some jaw opening, throat opening. It may show up as a little aches, and it's partly because we're trained to express ourselves from such a limited perspective rather than our unified wholeness. So you let this unified wholeness come in and rework the throat, the jaw, this part of the body that has held the fear, and the separation stories and the adaptations to those, being ministered to by your wisest self. And whatever no longer serves, being released with ease. Let the jaw rest slightly open to support the healing there. As you do, you might start to feel that energy moving down through the heart into the upper belly. The solar plexus on this planet of all beings has been a little off kilter, a little wobbly in its spin. And your wisest self, your highest self, is going to come and rebalance that. It may have a little moment of motion sicknessy or nausea as that's happening. And again, we just give breath and permission. We allow and we trust the highest self. We trust our wisest self. We trust this part. You might feel that the body wants to move a little bit to support what's happening, and you can give permission, and the stillness may feel right for you. There's no right or wrong, but just real permission. Letting breath help you. And letting this wise part of you continue ministering. There may be particular things that you're needing that we haven't named. Just allowing and receiving. Let it be so. Let me be rebalanced according to the divine plan. And as this is happening, we're going to play our song for this series, our reflection song. Just let this wisdom continue.
I grew up in the desert, maybe that's why I start to panic when I start to cry. I've always found comfort
And so this may continue this work that you've invoked from your wisest, highest self for a while. And it may feel easy to make a transition right now, and it may not feel easy to make a transition right now, right yet. If it does feel like you can make a transition and you want to share some of your experience, you can put it in the chat a little bit. I think instead of sharing verbally this time, Nancy, what do you think, just in terms of how deep this is? Just let people share in the chat if you feel called. But we're just really honoring that, really honoring that your wise self is continuing to support you in this upgrading and this recalibration and this remembering back into your angelic presence.
During the meditation, we supported your energy and recalibration. We moved with you for those that are present right now and those in the eternal now. We felt you, we feel you, and we helped you, we supported you. And so the changes are going to start happening. And what we need to become aware now is the habits that we have, the habits of old ways of thinking. We can't let those old habits taint this beautiful experience that we are creating. And so let's be aware of our habits as we're stepping into this magnificent self. Let's just be aware. No judgment,
Mhm.
just full of compassion and love. Just be aware. Mhm.
Yeah.
And this was big. This was really, really big. This is a collective that we are transforming here. Each of you and those in the eternal now are shifting the collective. So thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you. This work is changing everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Every time you make a step toward more wholeness, more balance, it's a ripple. And we know that the power of that ripple, because what it does in our biospiritual system is it brings our heart into a more potent frequency, that frequency is actually more potent than other frequencies. It's like stronger. And then when we come together, we form a collective field, and we're across time and space together right now. So the collective field we're forming is really potent. And the more we remember that, the more we potentiate it, because sacred service is the highest place. So when we remember that, we activate the field that just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And we all need sacred support right now. We all do. You know, I know for myself this week, as I've felt the collective field, there's been a big wave of sadness running through, right? And we all feel that in more or less ways. And so we all need the support of our holy remembrance.
Mhm. Thank you.
Mhm.
And so if you know of people that could benefit from being in this space, please share our website, soulfield.org, so they can take a look at what we do, and also they can sign up to receive our emails and invitations. And if you want to um, kind of remember when we're having Soulfield, you can do soulfield.org/calendar, and it'll just give you a calendar you can join, that you can use to have all of the links. Everything that you need is created on your calendar.
Yeah.
We have this recording will be posted on our YouTube channel, which is at Soulfield Experience, youtube.com /at Soulfield Experience. I can't speak today. Oh, and we're on social media as well. And we're posting the link to our tithing opportunities. When we give to others, we give to ourselves, but we're also here supporting the community. Um, your tithing is used to create this community, this moments of gathering to pay for everything that we need to be present here. And it also helps to give it back to the community for those that are not able to afford some of the participations or things like that, or whoever really needs support, they can reach out to us and we dedicate a percentage of our tithing to help others. So thank you to those that are consistently, continuously providing for this to happen for others. Thank you. Our gatherings happen usually on the second and fourth Sundays of the month, but on the month of April, we are actually having our soul feel on the first of the month instead of the second. So that will be on April 6th. That will be our next soul feel. And the meditation will be that week too. The meditations are usually on the first and third Monday at
Wednesday
5. Wednesday. Did I say Monday? Wednesday.
at
Yes,
5:10. Yeah.
5:10.
Mhm.
I want it to happen every day. So
I know.
so Wednesdays, 5:10 p.m. Pacific Standard, first and third Wednesdays. But if you sign in soulfield.org/calendar, you'll get it on your calendar.
Exactly.
And even the adjustments.
Mhm. Yeah, so we'll actually see you. We'll see you in 2 weeks instead of three, since we made this adjustment for Soulfield Sunday. And like we said, this is going to be like a two-part. So next Sunday, we're going to really look at what does it mean to really step into your angelic embodiment, and how and in what ways can we more intentionally do that? And that this one today and that one, they're like two sides of a coin around intentionality. Mhm.
All right. So we'll close with our closing prayer. There's a resonance in the prayers when we say it in Spanish and in English, both. It's just every time we say it, I get more and more grounded. So we're excited to share it with you.
We are deeply grateful to have experienced miraculous communion with our holy wholeness in the soul field. We wholeheartedly receive the upliftment of one another's communion and blessed soul light. As we close this formal gathering, we each in our own way will continue dwelling in the soul field, supporting our collective evolution. With deep gratitude, we thank one another and all our guides and guardians and angels. Remembering as we minister to ourselves, we uplift one another. We encourage the magic we co-created to ripple out to all our relations for the benefit of all beings.
Estamos profundamente agradecidos de haber vivenciado esta comunión de nuestros seres sagrados en el campo del alma. De todo corazón recibimos la elevación del sacramento de cada uno de nosotros y de nuestra bendecida luz del alma. Al culminar esta congregación, cada uno de nosotros de manera propia, continuaremos conviviendo en el campo del alma y apoyando nuestra evolución colectiva. Con profunda gratitud, agradecemos el uno al otro y a nuestros ancestros, ángeles, guías y guardianes de luz, recordando que cuando nos amamos a nosotros mismos, amamos y elevamos al prójimo, alentando la magia que acabamos de co-crear para que se expanda a nuestras comunidades, de manera de que todos los seres se beneficien. And so we'll close remembering that the Temple of Divine Perfection is available to you at any time. So as you are continuing to process this information, keep the Temple of Divine Perfection close to you and available and open so you can release anything that keeps happening during the week. Just put it there.
Yeah.
And so we close today.
Before you say that, Nance, may I, in exact alignment with what Nancy just said, like recognize you might be detoxing some things. And so that might be ways of seeing, it might be emotions, it might be sort of old things. So in that recognition of that, you might use some sage, you might take a baking soda sea salt bath, you might do some things to support if you're noticing that. And try not to grab onto it. Try to just breathe and like Nancy said, just let it go. Okay, here we go.
Yes. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Well said. And we are
Hello.
available if you want to email us for extra support.